Happy Easter, everyone. If you're new to Monique's Musings, I try, as inconsistent as I am, I try to make a blog post every month. And when I do miss the month, I try to catch up. So, this is the 31st of March, and I'm trying to catch up. I'm playing catch up. So, this is going to be a quick vlog about what I'm thinking about in this season, in this month. And honestly, I would say my thoughts have been all over the place. I wish it had more order, but it does not. And considering that the theme of this year, my theme of this year is my year of no, I am not going to put pressure on myself for not having it all together mentally for a blog post. But I have been talking a lot. I have been discussing a lot, having conversations with friends, overthinking a lot, which I wish was going down on paper, but it's just like in my head. Anyway, I thought what I would share for this month is my top three lessons that I am learning in this season of life. Um, and I will say three lessons from this month. The first lesson I am learning is that I need to stop, and I speak for myself, but I think it's a general problem. We need to stop thinking that there is something great coming, that life is about achieving this great thing, and that when you're right there, it's going to be better. You're going to be happier when I get that goal, when I achieve that dream, or when it's going to feel the same. I'm I'm scared. A bit of me, a part of me, still hopes that it's going to be better, but like a lesson I'm learning now is, yeah, it might not be. It might be the same. One of my therapy exercises that I'm doing this month, or trying to do, is that um, try and think of what was the happiest day of your life. Like, what was the happiest day of your life? Not the time, not like a season, a series of days, but just can you pinpoint a day that was your happiest day of your life? For me, I've been struggling to do that. Doesn't mean I've never been happy. Obviously, I have, but it's harder to give credit to a day. I've thought of my graduation day, my PhD. Um, I've thought of the day I landed my first job. I signed my contract. Um, I would think it was going to be. I'm sure perhaps those that have, um, and a part of me is like maybe, and again this is overthinking. A part of me is like, yeah, maybe those that have had kids would be like, oh, the day I had my daughter was the happiest day of my life. Like I could fly, or the day I had those that the day I got married was the happiest day of my life, um, or the day I took, or if they have like close family bonds, they could say a particular family event was their happiest. I have unfortunately been unable to relate to any of that. So a lesson I'm learning that I'm getting is, and it's not just for me internally but also externally, is that perhaps the life is just about the mundane things. There is no like the highs are not really going to change much because they're far and they're few and far between. And yeah, so take it that today is the happiest day of your life if you just did not have that stress that would normally come. The pain that was the absence of pain should be the happiness. Don't be expecting like an excessive peak of happiness. At least that's number one. So you just take every day like, yeah, don't be expecting that something's going to make you excessively happy. It's just this is it. This ratatata circle of like what you can do, the bare minimum. This could be just it, and that is that's what I'm feeling in the season. Number two, lesson of this season is coming from a couple of friends of mine have lost their siblings in short order, and watching them, I just kept thinking, yeah, I know we say it often that live, but I wish we were more intentional about it. And I don't mean like, oh, the general saying that what we always say is live, live, life is short, live. And what is carried in that message generally, like go and chop your life, enjoy, spend the money, die, like, which is fine. But I wish people were a lot more careful, like, are you ready to die? Are you ready? Or are you going to leave the load of the burden of it on whoever is left behind? Have you taken intentional steps to say, upon my death, I want this, and this to be done? And you don't need to own property to say, this is my will. Have you taken intentional steps to be able to say, hey, if I pass away, please, this is what I want for my kids. This is what this is what you guys should do. So I be buried like this. I have been in a position where I have been doing graphics. I play around with Canva, it's my hobby. So I do Canva designs for friends' funerals, sometimes paid, sometimes not, most times not. It's hobby, but it's something I I enjoy doing, and I think I do well. So people ask me to do it for them. And in the course of time that I have been doing this since 2022, what I have found is people do not have pictures of their loved ones, which is crazy. Like, we don't have evidence of life. You don't have evidence of you guys being having a close bond. We like, and we don't have plans. You don't really know like what the person would have wanted for themselves, because we do not really talk about these things. We have this kind of taboo. God forbid, I will not die. And then it happens because life happens, and you see people doing the things that you know or you might suspect that the person will not want, and you see people really like who are supposed to be mourning, like people who are supposed to be mourning being stressed, people who are grieving, not even like they're supposed to be, they are mourning and they are grieving, but yet under the stress of, oh, we should do this, we should make Ashwabi, we should do that one, we should do this one, and I'm like, please, if people had perhaps thought of what they would have wanted if they're passing, to make it as easy as possible for their relatives, it would be a lot more. I mean, just be considerate. Personally, I have a widow. Hey, it's not like you have money, but I am stating clearly that nobody should be doing any fundraising for me to say they want to bury money. Within short order, auction every damn thing I own and cremate me if it's possible. Y'all have this on tape now. Consider this is a public statement. Sell every damn thing I own within like a week. And anything. I mean, I know family doesn't get into your accounts. Family doesn't get into your accounts easily. They'll have to clear a lot of things, unless perhaps your family does have um, very good friends, have my access to my card, or know like what pins to use. I won't even say call them friends. That one, my sister can know like how to access this or that. I would say, quite frankly, collect the money, sell whatever it is that I own, and hand it that burial. If I'm dying out of the country, bury me out of the country. Don't come and be carrying people's corpses as we are doing, shipping them from whosoever, which other continent, to come on a burial ground where you die. Let you be buried there. In fact, cremation is the best thing. Donate the organs to Center for Medicine, where so the students can use it to learn, or if there's possibility of organ transplant that somebody else can use a heart or whatever, give it to them. And then you bury, because it is a body that is gone, it's a corpse. The soul is not there. So please consider this public. I'm sharing this public now, I'm just ranting. But consider this musings for this month having my will in it, okay? What else? The third lesson of the month. Very short blog, right? The third lesson of the month that I'm getting, this kind of came to me while I was talking with a sister the other day. I was telling her, honestly, I'm far from my best state for a while. I've been saying this over and over again, but it's the truth. I cannot remember when I was my best self. But this is not my best self. This is not my best version of Monique. And she asked me what my best version of me would be, and yeah, that brought me to a whole. That reminded me of a therapy session, but I also remember I've learned from that therapy what I learned from that therapy session, and that is that your ideal self should not be a to-do list of things that you should achieve. I'm not a project. Thank you, Angela. That's my therapist thing. And that is one of my therapist names. And so I have imbibed that lesson to say, yeah, um, although I'm not my best self, it's fine. Uh, um, you might be future, you might be getting better. I might be better than my version of my best, and so on and so forth. That's what I had taken from that therapy session. But this month, something else came upon me. What if your version of your best self is not God's version of your best self? What if your version of your best self is appealing to your human thinking, your human logic of what best is, what ideal is, and your worldly influences? What if at your best self you would not be serving you the purpose for which God created you? What if at your best self, like if you had everything, if you did everything that you wanted to do, and I'm thinking, no, everything I want to do is good and is within what God says has called me, right? But like the spirit just changed me. It could be that your best self gets up at 6 a.m., does this workout for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Um, yeah, does her devotional, does meditation, is very productive for most of the day, has goes on dates, goes out, comes back, writes, does this. Your best self is so productive. But perhaps it's a somehow unproductive version of you that God is using. And a poem came to me in that moment. A reminder that even at my worst, He has still used me to do this, to give that, to be able to communicate with this person, to be a sister, to be a daughter, to be a friend. And that means even at your worst self, He can still use you. Obviously, He's still using me at my worst. And yet, although I had accepted before that, oh yeah, the list of ideal Monique should not be like a to-do list. I'm not a project. I've been working on accepting that from therapy. And I also had this, oh yeah, God can use you even at your worst. He uses everybody, obviously. He has used Paul. I mean, he used the murderer, so obviously he can use you. But I had not come to the middle until this month, which like the third lesson is that your best might not be his best. Stop thinking that your best is best. You're not the potter. You didn't make yourself. We really do not know. We can guess, we can have guidance, I have had inspiration, but I'm no longer firmly holding on to um, this, what I aligned as this is my purpose for life. Because, girl, that was one thing that you wrote. And that purpose could have been convoluted like a conjoined statement. But still, you did not know all the milestones or all the points that like got it. Oh yeah, she was going to be here at this time and be able to do this. She was made to be here at that time and be able to do this. And so you might be sticking onto something so strongly, thinking, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And God is like, yeah, you were supposed to be there for this amount of time. Move now. Change now. There's another place you're supposed to be, in another format, in another version of you. So yeah, that's the third lesson I'm getting this month. I hope you enjoyed this vlog and do share with me, what are you learning in this season? Let's learn from one another. Thank you. Happy Easter.